Greetings from a very windy and fairly cool Finland, a country of 5.4 million people and a country that has over 40,000 islands in a massive archipelago, most of them just off the coast here in the Baltic Sea, and it's also a country known as the land of 1,000 lakes, 187,888 to be precise. I'm going to head first of all to a walking tour to get a bit of an introduction around the key parts of the central part of Helsinki, and then I'm going to do a little bit of exploring on my own. Helsinki was actually a city commissioned by the King of Sweden, Gustavus Vasa, in 1550, and that was when Sweden ruled this area. And the reason he wanted a city here was because Tallinn was a massive port and trading hub in the Baltic Sea, and the King of Sweden wanted a city for himself as a competitor to that. We've arrived at Congress Square now, and you can see just behind me there is the Cathedral of Helsinki. Just walking up towards the church itself, up the very steep steps. It's a Lutheran cathedral, finished in 1852. It's now one of the city's biggest tourist attractions. It was originally called St. Nicholas's Church after a Russian Tsar, but after Finland achieved independence in 1919, they changed the name of the cathedral to Helsinki Cathedral. They were about to go and place the bells inside the tower itself, and they realised that the dome wasn't structurally strong enough to support the weight of the bells, so they had to build another building to house the bells. So that building right there is the bell tower. The tour guide just gave us all some salmiakki, I think he called it, which is a little Finnish sweet or snack. It's actually a salty licorice. Most people spat it out straight away. I tried to persevere, tried to keep chewing on it for probably 4 or 5 minutes, but eventually the taste was just, in my opinion, getting worse and worse, and I had to spit it out. But good to try these things. Finland's democracy is set up in such a way that it almost always leads to a coalition government, and when the various parties gain power in the country, they come to this building behind me here to thrash out the details of how the government is going to work and how the parties are going to work together. In the foreground here is the back of a statue. Wish I knew more about it, but what I do know about it is that it was damaged by shrapnel in the Second World War by Soviet bombing in the area. You can see the whole thing is pristine, it's clean, it's tidy, but there is this shrapnel damage on the front here that they have chosen to leave as is, as a reminder of what happened here in the past. And here's another view amongst the vivid bright gardens of that government building just across the road. I've made it to the famous swimming pools here on the docks, and if you look over, you can see there's actually 3 swimming pools. You can see 2 of them, I believe, are heated. One is warm, one is kind of a standard temperature pool. And then this one over here, for anybody daring, is fresh water filled from the Baltic Sea. That didn't last long. That's the pool that is essentially seawater. Just walking now around the harbour area through the market. Looks like there's a lot of stalls out. Lunchtime, coffee and an apple pocket. It's a bit like an apple turnover, I think. Comes to €5 for both. We're heading now to the Russian Orthodox red brick church behind me on an island called Katajanokka, I think is how you pronounce it. I'm probably butchering it, but it used to be part of the mainland. It's only an island officially because they built this canal around and in between the church and the mainland. So I'm going to cross the bridge, maybe take a stroll through that part of town. I've climbed the steps up to what is essentially a viewing platform, and on that platform sits the red brick Russian Orthodox church, but you also do get some incredible views of the city from up here as well. So there's the church that I'm walking by at the moment, and then as I come round you can see the church where we were earlier, the Cathedral of Helsinki up there, and then some good views across the city. I was just about to say, look at those incredible Scandinavian type buildings, but I can't say Scandinavian buildings because I'm not in Scandinavia apparently. Turns out that Denmark, Sweden and Norway is collectively known as Scandinavia, but Finland is not part of that. They are a Nordic country, as is Sweden, Denmark and Norway, as well as Iceland and the Faroe Islands and a few more I believe. But this is not Scandinavia. It is just starting to rain. Fingers crossed it doesn't come down too hard. Those vessels over there are icebreakers, getting ready for the harsh winter that they have in Finland. A bit closer now to one of those big old icebreakers sitting in the harbour here, waiting for some action. And here's why. Some maps here. It's different every year depending on how much the sea freezes and how cold the temperatures are. In 2008 you could see, this is Finland up here, you can see the northern part of the Baltic Sea and bay here was frozen, but in 2011, my goodness, the entire sea crossing from Tallinn in Estonia, St. Petersburg, Russia and Helsinki in Finland completely frozen up. Boy, you would have needed the icebreakers that year. They'd have been hard at work. I've been in the shops and having dinner for the last couple of hours. It started to pour with rain, and so I decided to try and keep dry as best I could. It's about 7 o'clock now and I'm in the sort of shopping district, I think, the newer part of the city. It's a nice square over there. I'm just heading in that direction. Made my way across the road. I'm now in a place called Railway Square. It's called that because just behind the camera, so just up there, is the actual railway station of Helsinki. There's some buses in the foreground there, some stops I believe, but the actual bus terminal that I arrived at last night is behind the train station. It's a nice square, some really interesting buildings actually. So that one up there looks like a little miniature castle, and then some very decorated, prestigious palace-like building just there. I'm back down by the waterfront, overlooking pretty much everything in the city. It's starting to rain again, but no matter. It's a great view across the harbour area. I've got the Skywheel Helsinki there. I think it's closed, doesn't seem to be going round anymore. And then over here is the sea pool that I took a look at a little bit earlier. Heated, by the way, of course, otherwise there wouldn't be anybody in there tonight. And then over the background there is the city, the marketplace, which is down there, and then above the skyline is the Helsinki Cathedral. Well, it's been quite a day. I've enjoyed very much having a look around, having a wander around Helsinki. Tomorrow I'm catching a bus to Porvoo, and then as I said, the day after my last day here, I'm going to be heading to one of the islands, a fortress island just out at sea. 15-minute boat ride, I'm told. But thanks very much for watching. I'm going to call it a day, and I will see you in the next video.